Hi guys, my name's Andrea Quigley Maynard, for those of you who don't know me. Hopefully you can hear me. I've actually never done this with a group before, and I'm using the headphones because they said that would be better quality. So hopefully you can hear me. I want to start by telling you a little bit about me and what I do, and then I'm going to tell you that you can type in the chat box on the right-hand side and submit questions, and I'll answer those at the end if you have any. My name is Andrea Quigley Maynard. I'm a holistic health coach, and what that means is I coach women through diet and lifestyle changes so that they can have a happier and healthier life. It's a lot of fun. It's really great to see people making changes that when they have support that they actually find it's a lot easier to do. So one of the things that I've learned from working with clients is that everyone's struggling with low energy. It's chronic, and for some reason women seem to be dealing with this more often than men. Not that they're not, that men obviously are exhausted and stressed too, but I hear it more often from men than I do women. And maybe it's because we're more vocal. But either way, I think it's important that we have tools so we can address it. So what we're going to talk about tonight we're going to talk about why we have low energy, why that's a problem, and what we can do about it. Because let's face it, that's why you're here, right? You want to learn what you can do. So for starters, why do we have low energy? Well, for a couple of reasons. Number one, we have really busy lives. All of us have jobs in the home, jobs out of the home. You may have children, you may have a spouse or a partner who needs you for help. And, we have a lot of stress. So we're constantly going, we are always on the go and trying to do it all. And it's just not possible. So that takes a lot out of us. Another thing that can deplete our energy is eating the wrong foods or not eating enough food. How many of you have been on a diet? I mean, most women have been on a diet for at least part of their life. And constantly restricting calories can really leave you feeling depleted because you literally don't have enough energy to get through your day. Eating the wrong foods, the primary culprit I see with women is sugar. When we're low energy, we reach for sugar. It's the first thing that our body craves, and for good reason, because it affects us quickly. You get an initial boost, but then you crash after and feel way worse. So eating sugar is something that we kind of want to cut back on if we can, because it really doesn't do us any favors when it comes to having high energy. Stress is another thing that can deplete our energy. Most of us are running around really stressed out today. So, if you don't know how to manage your stress, it's something you want to look at so you can take your stress levels down. Dependence on caffeine, alcohol, or tobacco. Those are all things that we tend to reach for when we have low energy because they do give us an initial boost, but they ultimately knock us down a lot farther than we were to begin with. They also can mess with your blood sugar levels, which will play with your energy levels too. Dehydration is another reason why we have low energy. We're more than 50% water. Our bodies are made of more than 50% water. So we use water for everything from flushing waste out of the body to transport protein and carbohydrates into the bloodstream, you name it. So if you're not drinking enough water, especially if you're taking in a lot of caffeine and sugar and whatnot, then your body literally doesn't have enough water to do the jobs it needs to do. So it'll start taking water from your skin, from your organs, wherever, and you'll feel it really quickly. So it's really important to make sure you're getting enough water if you want your energy levels to be up. Toxins are another thing that we don't really think too often about, but that can take our energy away. Pesticides in our food, chemicals in our bodies, either from our environment or from the products that we use on our bodies. And all of these things, once they're in our body, we have natural systems like our liver and kidneys, our lymph system that work to get these toxins out. But if they're doing that, they can't take as good of care of you. So you're going to feel depleted because of that. Some other reasons, sleep. Who's getting 8 hours of sleep a night? I know I don't often as I should. We're all chronically exhausted, and that leads to low energy. So that's something that we can work on as well. Couple of things too, mental health conditions like depression or anxiety, physical health conditions, vitamin D deficiencies, vitamin deficiencies in general, anemia, thyroid issues, adrenal issues. These can all leave you with major, major low energy. If your fatigue is really severe, I urge you to see a doctor, get a full workup, and find out if you have a larger health problem going on, because it's really important to take care of that. So I think everything I've mentioned so far aren't really a surprise when it comes to why you have low energy. I'm sure none of those were like a big reveal. Couple of things that I think we think of less often of our lives, like relationships, career, spiritual, or physical activity. We know that when we're not sleeping well or we're not eating well, it makes sense that we're going to have low energy. But have you ever thought to think about the fact that if you're unhappy at work or if you're unhappy at home, that can affect your energy levels too? It can make a huge difference. If you're happy, if you love your job and you have a great circle of friends, you're getting significant exercise, then your energy level is going to be kind of boosted because you're supporting yourself with things you enjoy. So that's something to look into also if you're having low energy. I see low energy as a symptom of a much bigger problem. It's a sign that we aren't caring for ourselves. We're busy taking care of everyone else in our lives, but we don't often stop and nourish ourselves. So you want to be there for everyone. You might be a people pleaser and you hate to say no. It's important to put yourself first so that you can do all the things you want to do for the other people in your life, including yourself. So why should we care about having low energy? Well, there's a lot of reasons. I'm sure you have your own personal reason for it and why you're here tonight. But I have three that I think of that right at the top of my mind. Number one, as far as I know, we only have one life. That's it, right? So we're only here for a short period of time. We want to enjoy it. So you'll feel your best while you do that, right? I know I do. Number two, you want to be a good example to the people in your life that you care about. Whether we like it or not, we all tend to pick up habits of the people that we spend time with, right? We've all had a friend that we've got a couple of bad habits from, I'm sure. Well, the same goes for your good habits. And if you're leading a good example by eating well, getting enough sleep, taking good care of yourself, managing your stress, then your friends and family, your children, your spouse, your partner, whoever, the people you care about are going to pick up some of that. So you're spreading a good example, which is great. The most important reason I see is my third reason, and that's your long-term health. If you chronically have low energy, it's a sign ultimately that there's something not working. Is it your sleep? Is it your stress? Is it your diet? Is it the job that makes you miserable? Something is taking your energy. And it's really important to figure out what that is, because all of those things long-term can lead to chronic health issues. We all know that, right? So if you have low energy all the time, you're going to want to look into it so you can make some changes, because you want to live a healthy, long life, right? So now we know why we have low energy and why we care about that. What can we do about it? So there's a ton of things you can do. First rule I like to talk to people about is the fact that every single cell in our body is made from the food we eat. So your hair, your toenails, your skin, your organs, everything is made from from the food we eat. So if you're putting low quality food in, if you're eating a lot of chips or if you're eating a lot of white bread, you're basically creating your body out of those foods. Whereas if you're eating lots of vegetables and some pasture raised beef, that's like high quality stuff, and that's going to build a strong, healthy body. So when I'm trying to make good choices in my diet, one of the things I think about is, what kind of cells do I want to make? So that's a good trick I kind of think about, and that helps me make better choices for energy. Another thing I tell clients is when it comes to choosing local or organic food, choose the highest quality food that your particular budget allows. I know eating organic and eating local all the time is incredibly expensive. Most of us can't afford to do that, and that's if it's even available in our area. But let's say that you eat cabbage 3 times a year. Maybe cabbage isn't your favorite vegetable. That's okay. You don't need to splurge and buy organic cabbage. That's probably not as important. But say you feed your kids grapes every single day. That's their favorite fruit. Or you eat a salad with a big head of lettuce in it every single day. That's the area where those foods are going to have the most impact. So though I would splurge on the grapes and lettuce and get those organic and local if you could. So you really want to evaluate your particular needs and get the highest quality that you can afford. Don't worry about what your friends are doing. Don't worry about what your neighbors are doing. Do what you can do. This is you want to take care of. Excuse me. Another great thing I tell people when they want to raise their energy is choose foods that are as close to nature as possible. So we hear all the time in the media today, it's becoming a lot more popular that whole foods, everyone should be eating whole foods. And when we talk about whole foods, talking about fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, all of these things, they come close from nature. They don't have added sugar. They don't have added salt. They don't have preservatives added to them. And so they're going to have a lot more nutrition that'll give you energy. When we eat a lot of foods that don't come from nature, that are heavily processed, there's just a lot more chance that junk can be added in. And remember, that's junk that your body's going to have to filter out. So choose foods close to nature, and you can't go wrong. Another great trick to make sure you're eating for raising your energy is make sure that every meal, every snack has protein, fat, and fiber. Those are the powerhouses of nutrition, and each one works in conjunction with the other to stabilize your blood sugar and help you feel full for a long period of time so that you don't get those crazy, blood sugar swings that you get when you eat sugar. It's a huge benefit when you're eating those 3 together. Oh, and don't feel it. You're gonna have to laugh. I'm looking at my notes because I totally forget what I'm saying half the time. Don't fear fat. I know we're slowly moving away from the idea that fat is bad, and I'm so grateful for that. But I still hear people being like, oh, I should buy the fat-free yogurt, right? And no, not if you want to eat whole foods and things that are going to give you energy. If you're choosing something from nature, you want that fat. You do. So choose high-quality sources like avocados, olives, nuts, seeds, those things, butter from cows that were fed grass. Those things are full of nutrients, and it's going to give you a ton of energy. And fat, actually, we burn it really well for fuel if we're feeding ourselves properly. So it's something you do want in your diet. Read ingredient labels. So I don't care so much about how many grams of carbohydrates are in something or how much protein or fat or calories. I don't care about the actual ingredient label. What I care about is the list of ingredients on a food. If you want to keep your energy levels stable and you read the ingredient list and you don't know what some of those ingredients are, I'd put it down and I might think twice about it and try to choose something else. 9 times out of 10, those extra ingredients that we aren't sure of are a clever way for the marketing companies to squeeze extra sugar in there, or chemicals and preservatives that we don't need. They serve absolutely no purpose except to keep them on the shelf longer for the marketer. That's not helping you. That's not helping your body at all. So read ingredient labels. And if you don't know what something is, don't eat it until you know what it is. That's more toxins for your body to filter out. And again, we don't want to make our bodies work harder than they have to. They already have a big job to do. Shop on the outer edge of the grocery store. I'm sure you've heard this one before, that really nutritious foods tend to be on the outer aisles of the grocery store. And as you start moving in towards the center, you start finding a lot more things in packages that have a lot of stuff added to them. On the outer edges, you'll find fruit, vegetables, meats, dairy, things like that. And you move towards the center, you're going to look for, the only things I would buy out of the center aisles most of the time are things like nuts, seeds, or beans. a lot of the rest, if you really look at it, you'll see how much sugar and junk it is. And those aren't going to help your energy levels. So 3 things I tell people when they want to make a transition to a healthier life and be choosing more foods that give them energy. And these don't always go over well. I think because people are looking for a quick fix. They think, oh, someone has the answer out there. And it's just, I'm going to be able to snap my fingers and everything will be fixed for me. And unfortunately, there's no quick fix. You have to do it yourself. So there's 3 things I see helping you be successful in keeping your energy levels stable when it comes to the nutrition aspect of low energy. Number 1 is plan all your meals and snacks out. I know, I can hear groans even though you're all muted right now, but if you plan out your meals and snacks, if you're prepared, you can't fail, right? So if you know you have a snack in your drawer at work or in the refrigerator, and you know that dinner is a couple hours away and you already have it, you know what you're making, when the vending machine starts calling at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to be a lot less tempted by it because you have something to eat, you know what it is, and it's nutritious and high quality. So you can keep your energy stable and get through the rest of your day without a crazy sugar crash or a caffeine crash. So that's it. Plan out those meals and snacks. And it'll seem labor intensive at first, but you'll get on a roll and you'll be like, this is no big deal. And after a while, you could do it in your sleep. Another one is plan to prep vegetables, at least for an hour or 2 every week. When you come home from the grocery store, before you put them away, wash them, peel them, chop them, put them in individual containers. And that way, when you come home and you're exhausted and don't want to deal with it, you can put together a salad or a stir fry in 5 minutes, and you don't have to think too hard about it. If they're not peeled and chopped and you're tired and hungry, you're going to order a pizza. I know it. So prepare those vegetables and you're going to eat them. The third thing is stock your pantry and your freezer. You want your freezer to be full of frozen vegetables, which are just as nutritious as fresh and often cheaper, which is great. And of course, they cook in 5 minutes. So, bonus there. And your pantry, you want quick protein sources, nuts, seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, cans of beans or lentils. And these are the type of things when you're making that stir fry or salad, you just open a can of beans and you pour them on top and dinner's done, right? So you don't have, if you've planned out and you have some healthy foods on hand, you're not going to struggle to find energizing foods on short notice. The last thing that I think you want to do to help keep your energy levels stable is consider keeping a food journal. If you've never had a food journal before, it seems like kind of a pain, but all you need is a notebook and a pen. And what you do is you write down everything you're eating or drinking, how it feels, when you're eating it, right after you're eating it, and a few hours later, how that food's affected you. I've noticed that we've gotten really we're separated from our food. We don't really have a connection to our food anymore. We're not really aware of how it affects us or how it feels. And so a lot of times the foods that we think are giving us energy or they're our favorite food, it feels great when I eat this, we start to not notice what ones make us feel good and what makes us feel bad. So if you might find out, oh my gosh, every Thursday afternoon I get a headache at 5 o'clock and I'm eating rice cakes at 3. And you start to see a pattern. And so you start to notice, oh, well, maybe rice cakes aren't a good food for me. Maybe they're good for someone else, but they're causing a problem for you. I recommend keeping a food journal for a minimum of 3 weeks to see a pattern. And you have to be really vigilant about it. You can't be like, oh, I forgot to do it for 3 days in a row. It's really important to be consistent, and you'll get the most benefit from it. I actually discovered that I have rosacea, and I've discovered that when I eat eggplant, I get crazy red in the face. And if I stay away from it, I do okay. So by keeping a food journal, I learned that was the culprit as opposed to some of the other foods that I eat. So if you do this, you can figure out what foods are actually hindering your energy levels. So I definitely urge you to try that. I want to talk about a couple of specific foods I think that I love for increasing my energy. And hopefully that if you're not already eating some of these, you can add some of these into your life. So number one, dark leafy greens. They're really energizing, very purifying. They kind of help the body do the job it's already doing and cleansing toxins and waste out of your body. Full of calcium, magnesium, tons of other micronutrients. And they're kind of astringent, but you get a ton of nutrition in a small amount. You don't have to eat a ton to have them have an effect. Root vegetables. I love root vegetables, especially this time of the year. They're in season where I live in New England, but they're a great way to satisfy sweet cravings. If you're someone who is looking for that candy bar in the afternoons or need a lot of sugar in your coffee, root vegetables are naturally sweet, especially if we roast them or steam them. And that can actually satisfy a sweet craving in a little bit of a healthier way. So that's worth trying. They're also very grounding. So if you're someone like me who is a little high strung and a little intense and tends to, give out energy as opposed to take it in, eating root vegetables can kind of help you ground your energy and feel a little bit more focused, a little less frazzled. So they're great for that. And they're also full of tons of nutrients. They're amazing. Citrus fruits are another great high energy food. Number one, because the scent alone is very energizing. Like, who hasn't, cut a lemon and they're like, oh wow, like I feel like that wakes me up. But they're full of vitamin C, which will keep our immune system strong, which is good for your energy, obviously. But they also have a cleansing, astringent property, kind of like the leafy greens. So they're very good for that. Eggs are an awesome food for energy. First off, they're really high in protein, and they're full of good fat that we do need. Vitamin D, they're one of the few food sources of vitamin D in our diets. And they're also a good source of choline, which choline is important for brain health. It keeps your brain sharp, keeps everything firing. And I'm sure you've noticed on the days when you don't have very high energy that your brain is sometimes one of the first things to go. Well, eating eggs, getting choline in your diet will kind of help keep everything firing like it should. Nuts and seeds. We hear about nuts and seeds all the time, and they're great because number one, they travel easily. You can take them anywhere you want to go, but they're also at that perfect balance of fat, protein, and fiber. So it'll keep your blood sugar stable. And that's really the goal when it comes to food and energy. Chocolate. I think you should eat chocolate every single day. Now, I'm not talking about a milk chocolate bar or Cadbury mini eggs or some of the other delicious treats that are really more for the occasional indulgence. Talking about raw cacao powder. So what this is cocoa beans that have been dried in the sun and ground into a powder. They're not sweetened, but they're full of iron, full of magnesium, all sorts of good stuff. And you can stir it into smoothies or oatmeal, and it's incredibly energizing, one of the highest antioxidant foods on the planet. So you should definitely be having chocolate every single day. Sprouts. Sprouts from sprouted beans, sprouted legumes, seeds. They're amazing. Most of the foods we eat are no longer actively living when we eat them. Even the foods that were alive, like plants and vegetables, fruits and vegetables. Sprouts are one of the few foods that are actually still alive when we eat them. In fact, we eat them at the peak of their nutrition, when they're just sprouting out of the seed and just growing. That translates into food for you, energy for you. So sprouts are a great way to get a maximum amount of energy from a food. Avocados are a great source of monounsaturated fat, which, like I said earlier, is a great source of fuel for energy. They're also very low carb, very low sugar, and high fiber. So again, perfect balance for keeping your blood sugar stable. And they're delicious. Steel cut oatmeal is probably the last food I'll talk about tonight. Similar to avocado, they're great for balancing your blood sugar. They have a special fiber in them called beta-glucan, which not only does it balance your blood sugar, but it also can lower your bad cholesterol. So really good. Let's see, some other things you can do to boost your energy. These are all non-food related, but also for quick pick-me-ups when you're like, oh, I just need a quick boost, I'm going to lose it. Exercise. So I know when you're feeling exhausted, when you don't have any energy, exercise is the last thing you want to hear that you're supposed to do. It doesn't have to be a lot. You don't have to go out and run 6 miles. You don't have to go to the gym for an hour. But if you're looking for a quick energy boost, even just, a 10-minute walk, 10 minutes of stretching, 10 minutes of gentle yoga, just something to get the blood pumping in your body. It'll get more oxygen in your body. These are really both important. Get the blood moving, the circulation moving, get oxygen in your body. It'll pick you up quickly. And if you're not exercising at all, don't worry about it. Just start somewhere. Start somewhere and move up as you go. Try not to think about it as exercise. I like thinking about it as movement. Just get some movement. And it can start gentle, but it can make a huge difference in your energy levels. Absolutely. Meditation is another quick energy boost. I think most of the time when we think of meditation, we think of relaxation, calming down, and it's perfect for that, absolutely. But what's also great for, and we never hear about this, is it's perfect for giving you mental clarity and focus. So again, talking about people who are high strung and intense and kind of send out their energy all over the place like me, meditation's great for kind of grounding you, centering you, so that instead of wasting your energy, running around the house, doing whatever, you can actually take that energy and put it where you need to and where you want to. So you'll be more effective. And you don't have to do like a long guided meditation unless you want to. That's great. All you need to do to get started is shut your eyes, somewhere quiet, and spend 2 or 3 minutes taking deep, slow breaths, and that's it. Don't worry about if you have any thoughts, no big deal. Let them pass through. If you don't have any thoughts, that's great too. Just close your eyes and breathe, and then come back to the world after a couple of minutes. And if you do this on a regular basis when you're feeling totally spent, you're going to be like, wow, I can get so much more done when I do this. It's almost as effective as taking a nap, I swear. So consider starting a meditation practice. A couple of other great things you can do to boost your energy quickly. Spend time with people whose company you enjoy, and spend time outdoors. So I'm sure you've noticed this in your life. When you spend time with someone who's really negative, kind of nasty, not a very fun person to be around, you kind of like, you take in some of that and you don't feel great. Well, it's the same when you spend time with people who you enjoy, who you care about. You take in good energy. And spending time outdoors, if you're like me, I spend a ton of time on my computer, a ton of time on my phone, and way too much time in the car. Well, that can unbalance you, and you feel overstimulated, but not in a good way. And getting outside, getting in nature, and this could be separate from your exercise or part of it. Just go sit at the beach or go sit in a park somewhere. Just go walk to your mailbox. Anything. Just get outside in nature, and you'll find it'll balance you. And so, being balanced when it comes to the people energy that we're around, as well as our environment, can have a huge effect on your energy levels. Really start, thinking about who you give your time to, because they're taking some of your energy, and some of that you willingly give, you want to. They are people you care about, but maybe they're not the best influence on you. So make sure you balance that by spending it with people whose energy you do feel good about. Some other great things you can do to recharge quickly: take a nap, take a long bath, read a book. I know when we're really stressed out and we got a lot going on, the last thing we want to do is take time for us, right? Like, I have too much to do. I have no energy. I need to get this done. Well, it's one of the best things you can do is take time for you, because you'll recharge your batteries and you'll be able to come back and actually get done what you needed to faster and in a more efficient way. So it's really important to start putting you first. It makes a huge difference. Oh, and this one's my favorite. Get comfortable, if you're not already, with saying no. Not all the time, but I think women in general, like I said earlier, that we tend to be people pleasers. We want to help out. We want to say yes. We want to be everything for everyone that needs us, right? We like to be needed. Well, you can't be all things to all people. You can't say yes all the time because there's a limit to where you can put your energy. It's just, you just don't have that much of it, and you don't have the time either. So if you start saying no to things that you don't feel great about in your gut, and it doesn't have to be everything, but start somewhere. Start with something small. If it's not serving you in some way, if the idea of doing it is way more depleting than it is energizing, say no. You know, it's not personal. It's, you're taking care of you, and that's really, really important. And it's fun. Once you start saying no and you're good at it, you're like, this is amazing. I could say no to everybody. So I totally just like sped a million things at you. So I want to make sure that there's time for questions if anyone has them. If you joined us after I started talking, there's a chat box on the left-hand side that you can click on, and you can type in on the right if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. I'd like you to think about all the things I talked about tonight and see if there's one or two that you can incorporate into your life. There's a lot of things that we talked about that might take time, but I'm sure there's something you can take tomorrow and incorporate. Just one little thing. Maybe it's meditation for 2 minutes. Maybe you're going to go for a walk at lunch. Just something small. It'll make a huge difference. We've covered a ton. We've talked about why we have low energy, why that matters, and some of the things you can do about it. The takeaway, that what I want to drive home to you tonight, is that it's in your control to change it. If you don't like feeling this way, you don't have to. You can change it. So it's not about willpower. It's not about trying to do more. It's about taking care of you so that you can do the things that you want to do, and therefore create the life that you want to have. It's your call. It's your choice. I want to thank you for joining me here tonight. If you have any questions, feel free. You can email me. You can visit my website, which is aqmhealthcoaching.com. You can sign up for my email list there, as well as download a free 31-page ebook on how healthy eating shouldn't be a workout. It's completely free to you. And I also want to invite you to do a free consultation with me. This can be on the phone or in person if it's appropriate. It'll be a chance for you to discuss with someone your particular health goals and your needs. Maybe you have a particular energy concern that you need some guidance on. And it's a chance for you to see what working with a health coach might be like. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/AQMHealthCoaching, or you can go to my website at aqmhealthcoaching.com. So looks like we don't have any questions here on the side. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate you guys. So have a great night. Thanks. Bye.